Hi guys, this is ArchieLuxury and we are on the ArchieLuxury channel with my good friend and fellow YouTuber, Jeff from Age Blocked. Age Blocked. Age Blocked.
Hello.
Cocked Blocked. Age Blocked. We are here. Jeff kind of said to me before we did this video today, what do you want to talk about? I said, Jeff, let's just wing it. I like to wing it. I want to get
Yeah,
raw emotion. Jeff,
that's okay.
I want to talk to you and say to you, firstly, guys, we want you to check out the fellow channel, the Age Blocked YouTube channel. So it's just called Age Blocked. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. I want to pull this up on the screen so you guys can see the channel that I'm talking about, Age Blocked. What I'd like you to do, guys, is click on the subscribe to Age Blocked and get heaps and heaps of videos when they come out. So there we go, guys. Age Blocked. Fantastic series of videos, and Jeff is constantly adding. Jeff, you have started a business in IT, and the name of your business is SOE Dev Pro.
Yeah, SEO Dev Pro.
Sorry,
Yep.
SEO Dev Pro. That's search engine optimization devpro.com.
Yep. That's it.
No AU, just .com.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping to draw in international visitors, so you never know.
So, guys, that's search engine optimization. Jeff is a programmer, an IT guy with many, many moons of experience. You know the business. So, guys, if you want someone with a bit of gray hair to solve your problems, Jeff is the man. Now, Jeff, I want to talk to you, IT. I want to talk to you. Have you, since we last spoke, have you applied for many jobs, Jeff?
Zero.
Okay.
Yep, I'm not even. I gave up years ago looking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jeff, I've got to tell you, things are looking bleak. Okay.
Yeah.
I've always said this. I'm turning 53 in October. 53 in IT is 63 in any other industry. They don't want they don't want old folks. And I love the way
bizarre.
Because let's face it,
bizarre,
Jeff,
isn't it?
We are the pioneer. We were in the industry before Windows 95. I came into computers. I came in the DOS age. You were in the basic, even before Windows, even before DOS. You came out when it was fucking basic, like a Commodore 64, TRS-80s, that sort of age.
And mainframes. Yeah.
And mainframes. Very, very different way of doing things. Jeff, tell me, why do they, instead of being the veteran, instead of being the trusted veteran of the industry, why don't they want us, Jeff?
That's a question I'm still trying to solve myself. I think it's a number of things. Older people have a stigmatism about them, thinking that they can't learn new things, or they're slow, or something like that. So I think that's part of the problem. I think another part of the problem is people like to hire people their own age. So when all the managers in IT now are 30-year-olds, they don't want to employ someone older than them with more experience. They want to hire someone younger than them with less experience. So then you get that segregation. So I've noticed that quite a bit when I used to go for interviews. So I think it's a bit of a combination of both of those things. That's not what they tell you to your face, though. What they tell you to your face, though, is, oh, you're too overqualified. We couldn't possibly give you a job that would meet your expectations, or, you're just too good for this job. They try and dress it up in a roundabout way to make you feel better when they're
It's like a
actually talking
relationship with
to you.
it's you, it's me. You can find someone better. It's the same
Yeah,
lies, Jeff. Same lies. And
yeah.
I've got to tell you, Jeff, um, it's a very, very tough world we're in. The other problem I'm finding in IT is if me and you wanted to start a piece. Many years ago, I had a PC repair business. Okay, I'd
Hmm.
fix things and do things, and like you'd add a hard drive, add RAM, or replace certain things. The big problem is the technology has become so cheap now. A new computer is so cheap. A lot of the times, it's not worth fixing an older computer. By the time you do a few repairs and a few this, add a bit of RAM or replace this or do that, you could have bought a newer computer with warranty
Hmm.
for much more. That's a big disaster. The value of IT work is so low. There's no other area. Like, you think about it, Jeff. If you want to be an accountant, you need to get an accounting degree. You've got to work for a CPA or a chartered accountant. You got to do more exams. Like, nobody can just do it. But to call yourself an IT man, a programmer, or you just off you go. There is no set
Yes, that's
qualifications that
right. Yes,
you. So the
yes.
barriers to
And
entry are very low.
yep, and what I've noticed too, a lot of people get jobs in IT with very questionable qualifications too from overseas. So there's that fact as well.
I actually went for a job this was 10 years ago. And with Dell, Dell, you could become a
Yep,
Dell
yep.
technician. And I don't know about you, Jeff, but they were offering basically minimum wage type salary to do motherboard replacements, quite technical stuff. Like when I had my IT business, I would do basic repairs on laptops, like add memory or change a hard drive. But I wasn't really good at, my eyesight as I'm getting older, changing screens or changing, so many, like the motherboards all integrated. It becomes very, 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 you need a high skill level, and they
Yeah.
pay so low. The salaries are so low. Like, I looked at a Dell technician role, and it was like $20 to $30 an hour.
You might as well you might as well work as a concreter for that much money and
Well,
earn 10 times
well,
as
well, that's
much.
it. Another time I
Yeah.
went for a job with Fujitsu. Fujitsu, they make a lot of
Yep.
point of sale. I actually worked for a big point of sale company for a number of years. Point of sale is like the tills at supermarkets, restaurants. Every shop has where they sell product, you have point of sale. And I remember I went for a job, Fujitsu, because they had a big contract with one of the big supermarkets. I think it was Woolworths or Coles. And they wanted you to start like 10 o'clock on a Sunday and work until 6 a.m. store opening doing these upgrades. And there was no penalty rates. No, no. And I'm thinking to myself, who the fuck wants to start work at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, work until 5 a.m. or whenever they needed you to? So it could be a lot longer, it could be a lot less, depending on how the job was finished, for minimum sort of wages. IT people are paid such low rates. Not even talking about the ageism. The
Hmm.
rates are appalling.
Oh yes. Well, the thing is, businesses know that people are desperate, so and they played it at desperation by just offering people crumbs, like take it or leave it. If you don't take it, we got 20 other people who apply for this job. Well, actually, when I apply for jobs, there's generally at least 50 people applying for every single job that I applied for. So you can imagine a 40-year-old or me, I mean, who do you think they're going to pick? It's almost never going to be me. So I did notice in my last few jobs, the only time I actually did get jobs was when the manager was my age. So like an older guy.
Yeah.
So that was the only time I actually got jobs. Yeah.
I got to tell you, the IT area is a joke. I remember I got a pretty good role at a semi-government agency.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in charge of it, and they basically had servers. They were all virtualized in a data center. Okay, so they had a big server, all virtualized. And I remember my manager. See, the biggest problem I feel in IT is that often your manager who's managing you knows very limited about IT. They're not an IT expert. And I had this lady who was previously employed. She was accounting background. That was her role. So she was the accountant, but she knew IT enough to bullshit her way through, but not enough to actually do anything or understand what I'm talking about. And I remember having a big argument with her. I said, Jane, her name was Jane. I said, Jane, we've got a virtualized server. Okay. I said, our virtualized server is about 7 years old. Okay. I remember saying to her, 7 years old. And she just paid a bill for maintenance because they had a maintenance contract with IBM. And I said, Jane, if one of the hard drives fails, she said, why do we need to replace it? I said, Jane, let me explain it to you, Jane. I'll explain it simply. I said, IT equipment is like dog years. Multiply it by 7. Okay, 7.
Yeah.
And I said, Jane, our system is like the phone system was like an 83-year-old man. I said, Jane, if it failed tomorrow, the phone company would say, geez, you got a good run out of that. It wouldn't be, oh, that's a tragedy. I said, Jane, the old phone system, I said, it's using a 386 with an 80 gigabyte hard disk. I said, how do we, if the hard drive failed in this box, how the fuck do I duplicate it? I said, because I don't know. I know a little bit about this phone system. It was a very early VoIP system, voice over IP. And I said, Jane, I know a bit about it. I know enough to know, fuck me dead. This is dangerous. This is dangerous, Jane. And I remember I had a fight with her. I said, Jane, she goes, we've just spent so many thousand renewing the IBM contract. I said, Jane, the hard drives are 7 to 10 years old. I said, if one of them fails, because we've got it's virtualized, you had double up, you had that redundancy, right?
Yeah.
I said, but if 2 fail, we're fucked. And I said, if the controller fails and screws up the drives, we're fucked. And I said, Jane, do you realize that maintenance you've done, IBM will just come out, give you some new hard drives, and off you go. They are not responsible for the data. The data is not their response. No liability on the data.
Yeah, I know. Just the hardware only. Yeah, I know. But the data is the expensive part.
Itself. The backup was to that own hard drive itself. I said, Jane, this is a fucking disaster waiting to explode. She goes, oh, you're always so negative. I said, that's because
they don't seem to understand that the hardware is worth peanuts compared to the data that's on the hardware. So that's the real value.
Do you understand? We've got an office with 10 staff. I said, if the SAN failed, the hard drive, the controller failed, and it fucked up all the virtualized drives, I said, the whole office stops until we get it fixed. I said, that is the implication.
Funny you talk
And
about this. I just made a video on IT managers. So,
thank you.
sorry.
We'll check it out. That's on the Age Blocked channel. Go and check it out. I've got to tell you, I am actually quite bitter. I came from a big corporate, American corporate, and they used to replace their equipment whenever the warranty ran out. Okay, so when it became, they had Cisco equipment, top of the line, or sort of Rolls-Royce equipment. Whenever the warranty ended, okay, it's time to start looking at replacement. They were very proactive. Then I went for a cowboy company, a cowboy semi-government company, which had like about 20 employees as opposed to several thousand. And they basically had, it was so shocking. I remember I used to think, what the fuck would happen if this shit itself? And it was so bad. And I've got to tell you something. One thing I really feel horrible about in the IT space is the fact that there doesn't seem to be, you try and explain. I remember we had, let me tell you, I remember I was there for 2 weeks and we were moving floors, right? So we were on a certain floor, we were moving to another floor.
Yeah.
And she had done all the new furniture, and they even had quoted to move the rack. And I had a massive fight with her. I said, Jane, I said to them, we went to the first meeting. I could drive a semi-trailer through the faults. Okay. We go to the first meeting, and I said to Jane, I'm a bit concerned here. These people are going to move the equipment. She goes, oh, it's all taken care of. They're moving this. They're moving the rack. They're moving us. Okay. I said, Jane, let me explain a couple problems. You see this big wire thing? We need to have that replicated on the new floor.
The patch panel?
No, this is the wire to the internet. This is like to the street level. This is the fiber.
Oh, okay.
I said, for starters, that needs to be replicated. And I said, Jane, I said, they've quoted to move the rack. I said, I bet you, I didn't say anything. I kind of knew the horror story. We went to the first meeting. I said, you guys have quoted to move the rack. Does that include all the shit inside the rack? You're taking it out, and because you can't move it with it in there because it's so fucking heavy.
You know what you should have done? You should have taken 2 weeks leave and let them sort it all out. Well, I just started the job.
Actually, I nearly walked out.
Yeah.
And the guy who did the quote, he said, naturally, we rely on your IT people, me, to move the stuff. And I said, Jane, this is a horror story. We got a 12-year-old PABX. We've got old equipment. It's a fucking spaghetti junction because it had all been done so horribly. And I remember when I actually got it done so beautifully, instead of saying, fuck, that's how I got contractors in, we got it all done, we did the move. And she said to me, I remember she said to me, I never forget this. She said, you know what? It may not have been a Rolls-Royce solution, that it may not have been pretty before, but it still worked. That was her attitude. Yeah. And I said, yes, but you try and troubleshoot when it's a fucking spaghetti junction. You try and locate a problem or solve a problem. And I got to be totally honest with you. I never, ever want to go back into an IT role. I am fucking burnt out, Jeff. I am so burnt out, it's not funny.
Oh, that's why I'm not applying for jobs. Yeah. I'm just wasting my time pretty much.
What do we do in your 50s or 60s? Because the problem is the government, you can't get a pension in Australia until you're 67 and a half.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? That's okay if you've got a government job which you can sit on your fucking ass and do nothing. But what are we supposed to do? We've been on the pointy edge of the workforce. What are we supposed to do now?
Funny you
What do
mentioned
we
public
do, Jeff?
servants. Well,
Sorry?
I know what I'm doing, not IT. That's what I'm doing. No, funny you mentioned public service. I had a contract. Well, I've had quite a few contracts, but one of the contracts is in Brisbane for Department of Works, and they had one guy there who was an engineer. All he played all day long was solitaire, day in, day out, and then and nobody said anything to him because they had this self-managed policy. So the managers didn't actually want to manage him because people are supposed to manage themselves. So no one said anything, and this guy just did that stuff. And then one day, I think he had a heart attack in the urinal, and then that was the end of it. So how stupid is that?
Happy ending. There we go. That's a happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, tell me this. You've moved out to more rural Brisbane. You've moved out. Well, not Brisbane. You've moved out to the countryside. Is there more opportunities there or less?
No, there's nothing here at all. The only opportunities here is if you want to be a farmhand. If you want to be a farmhand or do something on the land, like a diesel mechanic or something of that nature. But no, there's absolutely no offices here whatsoever. So, and there's definitely no IT people here either. None at all.
Could you do a job like doing IT repairs or IT work for locals and that?
Well, I've set up my business to actually service this whole area. So it services Toowoomba and the Lockyer Valley where I am now in Brisbane. So it circles like 150 kilometre round radius. So it might mean I've got a bit of driving to do when I actually get some clients. But I mean, that's the way I'm working on it at the moment.
How much do you charge for your services? What are you charging yourself there out at?
Well, just to get a lot of customers, I'm starting off doing like a SEO audit for $50, and then if they actually want the work done, I'm charging about $65 an hour, and I estimate
that's very reasonable rates, very low rates there.
Yeah, I estimate it'd be like a day's work. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only way I can get business. I have to undersell myself. So I can't, I mean, because I looked it up on the internet, a lot of these SEO people get $250 an hour, but I just can't ask that amount of money.
No. Jeff, are you worried about your future? Are you worried about your future?
I'm very worried about it.
How do you handle the stress and the pressure?
Well, I might not show that I have stress, but I am extremely stressed. And I saw a video on YouTube the other day that really made me think, because just the last few months I've been getting extremely forgetful. You know, I forget everything. So I can't even remember where I put my keys 10 minutes ago, you know, stuff like that. And I keep thinking it's old age and all that sort of stuff. And then I saw a thing on YouTube that says that people who get dementia are 10 times more likely to get it if they're stressed. So I'm thinking this bloody stress is what's pushing me this way. So it's not my old age because I eat really healthy. So so I don't think it's that. I think it's the stress is just dragging me down, and there's really nothing. It's sad because there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah.
I got to tell you, what do we do? 50s, mid to late 50s, early 60s, right? You're still a long way away from getting the pension at 67 and a half.
Yeah.
What the fuck can we do? What do we do? Do you just get job seeker allowance?
I've just been spending my super. That's how I've been living. And I can tell you now,
you can get some job seeker, can't you, yourself?
Because my wife works, I'm not entitled to it at all.
Oh, so, I see.
Yeah.
Actually, I did watch your video on the super. Yes, after 60, you can access your super. You can access your super after 60 there.
Yeah.
The big problem is most people have gone through a divorce or two and may not have the big nest egg that you would think they would have.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's
I'm a
so
victim of that
easy
too.
to get
Yeah.
divorced and get resold in the divorce.
Yeah, exactly a victim of that too. I had my own house when I was 30, and I'm actually going backwards now. So, um, yeah, oh well, it's the way it is.
What do you think the future is? I mean, what I don't understand is these politicians start talking about extending the retirement age. You know, I think it's in one of the northern European countries, Norway. They've extended retirement to 70 because people are living longer.
Well, I think
What
it's
the
stupid
fuck?
because it's stupidity because they don't give anyone jobs over 60 anyway. So you can make the retirement age 60 and it wouldn't make any. You can make it 80 and those people are just going to be unemployed anyway. So it's the same money as being on a pension, except you're obligated to look for a job. I mean, it's just stupid.
It is very tough. Um, do you feel if you were 40 or 37, you would have no problems getting jobs you apply for?
Yeah, definitely much easier. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right there. It's unfortunately, what do you think of AI? Have you what's your view on AI?
Well, I've made some videos on that, and I just discovered last week because when I watch YouTube, I keep seeing these ads pop up about these things called AI employees. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah, and I was wondering what is an AI employee? So I actually went and enrolled in a course in it to work out what it is, and what they are is the AI agents, and that's a whole level above ChatGPT. So these are really like employees. So like I'm actually programming one now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it to go and find all the small businesses in the Toowoomba and Brisbane area. Go and scrape all their websites to see who the owners are and what their emails are. Once you find all that, start a mailing list and start mailing them. And if they respond back, to get leads, and then if they respond back, you auto respond back with something else, and it's completely automated. So this thing runs in the background, so you don't even need your computer on because it runs on the cloud. So this thing just runs 24 hours a day doing all your work for you. And I was thinking
Yes.
that's going to be so you can imagine the implication of what this is going to do with programmers. I mean, programmers are going to be completely gone in a few years anyway. So even the young people are going to be gone unless they become like an AI person.
What can we do? Like once you're in your mid to late 50s, what the fuck can we do? Like I'm too old to start a trade, okay?
Yeah,
I can't join the army. I can't join the police force. What can I do? What can I do? I've worked in
actually,
IT. Yes.
yeah, I did actually go through the process of trying to get in the army a few years ago, and you need to be
Yes.
under 55. So, so there you go.
Un-
If you're over 55, you're not eligible.
yes.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a very, very tough way to go. The problem is, I'm not ready to die yet. I'm completely unfucking employable. I'm unemployable, but I'm not ready to die yet.
How's your knitting skills?
Why is
That's what
that?
old people seem to like doing, isn't it? Making little tea doilies
Knitting.
and cookies
Yes.
and marmalade. You can make a mean marmalade, can't you, Paul?
How do you handle this complete being absolutely written off by society? How do you handle that yourself? How do you cope with that?
My dog. This is
Service
my
dog.
savior. Yeah, come here.
Yes.
Come on. Hang on, I'll see if I can get him up. Come on,
Sure.
come on. Come on, up. Come on. Oh, he's being really stubborn at the moment.
Oh, that's
Hang on,
okay.
well,
He's having a rest. Let him have a rest. Leave the poor guy alone.
He just had 2 bones. There he is there.
Oh, okay. That's good there. So has it helped having the dog there, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, definitely, because he's a distraction. So
You had high anxiety. What was the problem? Depression, anxiety? What was the problem?
yeah, both. So and the person who trains me said, yeah, one of the major reasons people have service dogs is because it gives them purpose. So the way I'm treated now by society, I feel completely worthless and not even think about continuing life. But
Are
the
you
dog
bitter at
actually gives me
society? Are you
purpose.
bitter how things worked out? Are you bitter?
Yes, I'm bitter and I'm angry, but I'm also over it. So I'm basically ignoring society how they ignore me. So I'm a bit of an eye for an eye person. So that's sort of how I'm treating this anyway at the moment.
The big problem I have is that you may have all this time, but you can't really afford to go to the beach, or you can't stay overnight because accommodation is so expensive to rent somewhere, like a hotel or a motel. It's so expensive. You're really
Oh yeah,
trapped.
well,
You know
me and
what
the
I mean?
wife, we haven't eaten out in a long time. Me and the wife, we actually had a hard time just getting a rental property because the wife's salary isn't it. I mean, it has to be like I think less than 30% the rent, and
Yes.
because I'm not working and only she is, and she's only getting a low income, it's more than 50% of her income the rent. So we almost couldn't get even a rental property because we're just not earning enough money. I mean, how stupid is that?
Yes. Yes. It's very nasty. I mean, I can remember, the whole society is changing. Renting in Australia is becoming a disaster. I remember years ago when I was making 30,000, rents were about 160 a week. Okay.
Yeah.
For a 3-bedroom house, a basic house. That same
Yeah.
place now would be 700 a week. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's the salaries are probably, the problem is, let me tell you this, in IT, we have had a situation. I've been out of IT for 10 years, 11 years actually, because I've been working for myself. And when I went to look back at the salaries, the cost of living has exploded, rents have doubled, but the IT salaries have not doubled. They've gone up
No.
10, 15%, but the costs, what I think's happened with IT, where IT used to be a highly respected and highly lucrative area, it's now become less than a secretary or admin services type role.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's to do with the programming framework. So, like back in the days, people actually had to think and solve problems and use logic to write programming. But now
Yes.
programming is just configuration. So you've got all these frameworks that do everything for you. All you've got to do is configure it, like put a yes and a no here and tick a box there and press apply, and that's it. That's what programmers do now. So point in cases, especially
Would you
web
ever consider
programming.
something else, like say accountancy or something like that?
I
Bookkeeping?
did do accounting when I left school for a few years when I was in my teens.
Yeah.
But I just found it boring, actually. I could barely tolerate doing it. It just wasn't a challenge for me. So in
Yes.
hindsight, I wish I was a lawyer. Actually, now they make money. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think you're right there. It's an absolute disaster, Jeff. Jeff, life is not easy. I will take you out. I'll take you out. Actually, I'll take you out for lunch. Very soon. We'll go, a good little pub or restaurant we can go to for lunch? I'll come and pick you
Well,
up.
there's a Cafe 63 down the road, like the ones in Brisbane.
That sounds great.
And at very reasonable price. That's the only one time we went out. That's where we went. So that was fine. Nice and quiet. I mean, country. It's not like Brisbane where it's packed. So
Yes.
yeah,
No,
you can park right
fantastic.
outside. Yeah, no parking meters.
No, that's fantastic. It's Jeff, it's yeah, actually Cafe 63, that's an interesting concept. I've heard of that concept. Yeah, no, there's some very, very reasonable price stuff there. Cafe 60, very
Yeah,
reasonable.
yeah, and it's not bad either. I mean, well, this branch here is nice anyway. So
Yes. Yes, Jeff, I would love to take you out, man, and thank you for coming on my stream. And
yeah, and
I'd
I'd
like
love
to
to
try
eat
and
all the food you buy.
sorry?
And I'd love to eat all the food that you can buy.
Hey, there's no problems. Jeff, there's no worries there. Jeff, it's great chatting to you, man. I really do appreciate it, and I just feel disappointed. I'm very disappointed that IT went the way it did, and I've got to tell you, I had no idea we would be fucked over so much. I thought we
Yeah,
had job security, we had it all,
yeah,
and
yeah. That's how I felt in my 40s. Like, ooh, I must admit, I did have bouts of unemployment when I was younger, but it wasn't for long. I mean, it wasn't a major concern like it is now because I could hop into other jobs. Like, I tried lots of things. Like I did uh, traffic controller, lollipop person. I did that for a
yes,
while.
yes.
So I did lots of things like that, just in between jobs because I wanted to do something rather than just feel sorry for myself and sit at home all day. But now I do want to sit at home and feel sorry for myself. Yeah, I'm sort of beyond that now.
No, I understand. Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the stream. I'm going to just play the outro. Just hang on there. This is
Thanks,
one of
Paul.
my
Thanks for
sponsors.
inviting me again.
Hang on. Just hang on, and I will chat to you after the stream is finished. Just hang on. Hi, guys. It's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW, David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW, David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW, David SW, David SW.